Hello YouTube, this is Morgan, Airspeed Prime here with my next Legend of Korra video. This is going to be a video where I'm going to talk about the spoilers from the leaked episodes that came out. So, I did ask in my last video if people wanted to hear me talk about these episodes, if they are fine with spoilers and are fine with me talking about them. And yeah, some people did want to hear me talk about it, and so I'm going to do a video. Because quite honestly, I wanted to do a video to talk about them. I just wanted to see if there was any interest for it. So I'm happy to do this video. So yeah, I'll say it right now. I'm going to talk about all of the spoilers from this episode. If you want to avoid spoilers and really are not interested in them, this is not the video for you. You will be spoiled if you continue to listen. So, yeah, just putting that up here straight away, letting people know. Says spoiler in the video title. I'm telling you right now, this is a spoiler video. If you say in the comments that you're spoiled from this video, it's your own fault, not mine. So yeah, let's get into the episodes. The episodes of Book 3 Change that aired, accidentally uploaded, were Episode 3, The Earth Queen, Episode 4, In Harm's Way, Episode 5, The Metal Clan, and Episode 6, Old Wounds. So, we didn't get like episodes 1 to 4, it was 3 to 6. Unusual selection of episodes. So we don't know the full details of how the season starts, but through the previously ons, we get a little bit of a hint about what exactly is going on here. So yeah, let me just first of all start with, for me, what I consider straight away to be one of the kind of like shocking moments, big spoilers from these episodes, and that was simply that other airbenders outside of, Tenzin's family and Korra, that was huge. Just the fact that, you walk in, okay, I'm expecting a few spoilers from the first two episodes, but straight away it's just like, previously on, and then it's just like, this kid airbending and Tenzin and Korra watching and just like, what? There are other airbenders, how has this happened? Now, it's not fully explained in the episodes what exactly happened here. I assume some form of an explanation or some backstory on this is given in the first two episodes, but apparently what happens is that they hear rumors or something like that about other airbenders being found around the world out of nowhere, that people are suddenly waking up and they can airbend, and it's happening pretty randomly all over the place. And they find one of these people in Republic City who is this new character who's about Janora's age, who's about 11, 12, and his name is Kai. And he seems to have Earth Kingdom roots, I think is the idea, just based on the colours he's wearing. But he can airbend. And this basically gives Tenzin and Korra the idea to search the Earth Kingdom, because that's where they're hearing the rumours of most of these people from. They're going to search the Earth Kingdom for airbender recruits, effectively, because they're both eager to see airbending as a tradition continue, and they don't want to see the art die out, because they know Tenzin's family alone maybe isn't quite enough to fully restart the airbender population, which is a really cool idea to start the series. That it's not completely based around spirits, which is perhaps the only one, negative I had from these episodes, was that the little we've known before these clips was that everything's going to change. There's spirits in the human world, and there's humans in the spirit world now. The portals are open, people can just go back and forth. But there was really no focus really put whatsoever on the fact that there are spirits in the human world, really, in these episodes. So I hope that is addressed in the first two episodes, and it becomes a bigger plot point towards the end of Book 3. But back to the airbenders now, and yeah, that as the idea, that's why they get on the blimp, that's why everyone goes to Ba Sing Se. It's revealed that Mako and Bo Lin go because they kind of find out that they have roots in Ba Sing Se, and they are kind of searching for their family, I suppose, is one of the things that they're there for. And Asami's there, I assume, because of this new giant airship is made by her company, again, I hope we get an explanation on which company she owns, because we meet like Varric returns in one of these episodes. He's in the Metal City, and he's apparently working for Sue, Lynn's half sister, and doesn't have anything to do with his company. So I assume because that airship is so massive that Asami has the power of both Future Industries and Varric Corporation. She owns both now. That's why she's there. And she's obviously basically giving this team this ship as a way to test drive it, and just she wants to be part of the team, and that's really cool. That there's a reason pretty much given why everyone's there. Boomy is basically I suppose the implication is perhaps that Boomy was the one who found Kai in the first place, and they have some sort of a relationship there. But primarily, it's Janora who has a crush on Kai, and that plays out throughout the episodes, which I actually really liked. That even though there's been a lot of criticism about the romance so far, that they're still not afraid to like put bits in like that when they want to, and it worked really well. I think just the little kind of blushes from Janora, and Kai kind of acting all charming around her and stuff like that. It was really kind of quite sweet. Um, but yeah, the Airbender plot is more than just they're Airbenders now. People want Airbenders. The Earth Queen, obviously through having control of Ba Sing Se, the Earth Queen confirmed in the episodes to be Kuei's daughter. Where a little bit disappointing, I suppose, that she's just primarily played for jokes with a little bit of seriousness. But she basically has a lot of the airbenders in Ba Sing Se kidnapped, and trained by the Dai Li to become her like airbending division in the military. And we see much of the kind of cruel Dai Li that we've seen before. They're very harsh on the people they kidnap. Don't quite go down the brainwashing route this time around, but still it's kind of undercover stuff like Lao Guy, which gets a big reference in the episode, which is really cool. Minor disappointment that they didn't give any explanation or real mention of the fact that hey, the Dai Li is just still here and they're still evil. Did anything happen to them after they were revealed to be like betrayers of the Earth Kingdom, siding with the Fire Nation in the latter stages of the war? No, you just let them back in and do their thing again. I hope that gets addressed at some point, because it was a little bit like, this is really cool, like I like the Dai Li, but who let this happen? Did Kuei really let the Dai Li back? But I'm not sure. Either way, airbending thing is really cool. Other thing I want to talk about, for me the biggest positive from these episodes was the villains and their backstory, the visuals of them, and the idea of them as a group, and the mystery behind them. Really cool idea that, for me, I was a little bit worried going into this book that they wouldn't be able to do a good villain because they'd almost exhausted all of the ideas that they could have. They've done, Ozai as just the plain big bad guy that you fight at the end of the heroes fight at the end of the show. They've done the kind of charismatic guy who is in control through his, speaking, his politics and stuff like that. In Amon, in book 1, they've done the uber powerful spirit who is basically evil itself, evil incarnate in Vatu, combined with Unalak. So where were they going to go from there? And I think they got it perfect in this kind of crazy, almost psychotic bender gang that's just a completely kind of just put together group of benders who are united by some common goal. They're all very unique, and they've just got this kind of edge to them that's really cool. Zahir is their leader, and he's an airbender, but obviously he's one of these people who woke up one day with airbending. And the backstory is that this group tried to kidnap Korra in the early days of her being found out to be the Avatar. So when she was like 4 or 5 years old, this group went down to the South Pole to try and kidnap her, or perhaps kidnapped her on one of the early kind of trips she was allowed to have. And then from this is where the decision was made to train her solely in the South and keep her protected. So more of that story coming out through these villains. Really cool, once again, that story is not over. The whole thing about Korra's isolation has a lot more to it, which I found really interesting. But back to the villains. The interesting group of, I think it was Tonrok, Tenzin, Zuko, and Sokka fought them off and basically managed to capture them, these four characters, and put them in prison. And what we assume happened was that they were all split up and put in very different prisons across the world. Zahir was put somewhere, the other two were put somewhere, but primarily we get the focus on the fact that Peli, this female firebender, who is basically Combustion Woman, she has the third eye, has the psychic firebending powers. She is put in this prison underneath the North Pole that not even Eska and Desna know about. Unalaq helped to have it built, and she's put down there because the cold keeps her from using her ability, not to mention she's just completely chained up. And I found it, I like the whole idea about how their imprisonment is kind of broken, in that Zahir clearly was the non-bender of the group. The rest of them could bend. He was the non-bender, probably the brains behind the group. And he was just put in a prison. He wasn't seen as big of a threat as the other ones because he couldn't bend. But then, like, he's suddenly given airbending, and suddenly his prison is not adequate at all. He keeps it a secret until he can use it well enough to break out, and he's the first one to break out, and it's a surprise. He then, I'm just assuming a lot of this, he goes and breaks out the other two, and then the three of them go to break out Peli, which is what we see. And then we see them all ending up together. And they still have the same goal that they had basically, 13 years ago when they were captured. That they want to kidnap Korra for some reason. I have no idea why. Other than the fact that maybe, this is a group that, at least now, has all four elements. Maybe they just don't like the Avatar, they feel they could do a better job, something like that. I feel there's a lot more to it than that. But either way, the cool thing here is that they all have unique abilities. Zahir, interesting in the fact that he's one of these new airbenders, yet apparently he's a master. He's really good at airbending, gets it straight away, and has only had a few weeks training. Pili obviously is the female combustion man, and has that power to her. The female waterbender of the group doesn't have any arms, and we assume she was born without them, and so has developed this amazing waterbending style where she uses the water to basically make up for the fact that she doesn't have arms, and she has the tendrils and has a kind of tough level of connection with waterbending, and so is super powerful that way. And then the earthbender guy probably has the least personality from what we see of the group, but has a really unique ability in that he can basically turn earth into magma. So he has that kind of heat-focused earthbending, which is something we've kind of seen rumored before. And so it just makes them a really threatening group in that they all have unique abilities. And again, a lot of mysteries, a lot of questions behind them. They're not just super straightforward. We don't know their aims, which I really enjoy. And yeah, when Korra and these four finally meet up and fight, it's going to be very interesting. How's her avatar state working now that she's basically a new avatar? We assume she can still use the avatar state, but maybe it's not as powerful as before, which will maybe make it a more even fight, because avatar state seems like, Vatu worked in terms of, like, he was so powerful that he basically could counteract the avatar state, and it wasn't just this completely thing where it just ended the battle. So that presents a good way to kind of, I wouldn't say weaken Korra, but just give her, kind of just temporarily take away that power from her, where it's not just, I'm losing, oh wait, avatar state, I've won, as it often can be. But yeah, Korra herself, I find it interesting that she's not the main focus of all of the stories going on. That she's getting some development, and obviously she's a big deal because she's the Avatar and she's the leader of the group there. She's getting the respect from the world leaders as the Avatar. But the focus is on the other characters. It's a big focus on Mako and Bolin going to visit their grandmother and finding out about the family. It's a big focus on Lin towards the end of these 4 episodes that we get. There's a side plot going on with Zuko as he's investigating the breakout of these villains. We see some Tonrak stuff, we see some Eska and Desna stuff. And we get a little bit of time, with Korra and Asami to show their friendship and stuff like that. We're getting a little bit on the Earth Queen, on this new character, Lin's half-sister Su Lin, Opal. We see some Varric. But primarily, I like that Korra is not the be-all and end-all of this season, because she kind of has had the majority of the development from the first 2 books. And I assume she will become like the prime focus once Zahir and co find her, which is where the episodes end. He uses the ability that Jinora uses earlier on in the episode, the kind of astral projection spirit thing, to find her. And that's going to go down, so that's really cool that she's getting a story, but they're not afraid to kind of put Korra to the side a little bit in this book to give other characters some time. And the Mako Bolin side plot thing with their grandmother was very nice, little emotional story, which the brothers haven't quite had yet. I think Republic City Hustle was about as kind of emotional as we really got with those characters, and this time we're getting that. I like that Jinora is kind of still part of the group. She goes with them while Iki and Milo stay at home. That shows a big step up for her character. The fact that she has this skill and she's seen as like the master of it effectively because it's her unique skill apart from Zahir. The astral projection, which she can use to find people. Really cool concept that they're giving Jinora that idea. What else to talk about? Then I suppose the main thing is Lin and the whole Toph backstory stuff that we get, and the fact that she has a sister, but it's a half sister, so that means there's 2 Toph ships out there that we have to figure out who the fathers are, which is interesting. I'm still hoping for the Duke for one of them, but I assume it may be Satoru and the Duke, maybe, or some other new character. Not sure really what they're gonna do with that, but the very interesting stuff going on with Lin and her kind of past, and that they present that the sisters are very different. That Lin always wanted to be exactly like her mother, so much so that she basically said she became a police officer for the sole purpose of pleasing Toph, but I suppose never quite got the attention that she thought it would get from Toph, because we all know Toph's not the most emotional character. And then Su Lin, just going to call her Sue for now, went the complete opposite way and effectively became a criminal and as like a way to get her mother's attention. And that led to the 2 sisters arguing, because obviously Lin's a police officer. She has to arrest Su Lin if she's committing a crime. And then this apparently all leads to the fact that Toph has to rip up this conviction notice for Su Lin, and it eventually results in her retirement early, a year later or something like that is established. And then they don't specifically say that Toph is dead yet. They kind of just said that she just left and went off to explore the world on her own. So I kind of found it interesting that that's up in the air, that we don't know where Toph is, that it's a kind of mystery, that the mother just left. And it kind of explains why kind of Lin is the way she is, that she doesn't like to get close to people and stuff like that in case they go away like her mother did, or what happened with her sister. And there's some very emotional stuff going on with how kind of emotional things are getting for Lin, which you haven't really seen a whole lot of, that she's so angry at her sister. And especially the scenes between Lin and Opal, the way they went, were really sad, because you can understood what Lin was doing, but felt so sorry for Opal, because she just wanted to meet her kind of aunt, Lin, who she kind of has looked up to for a long time. And Opal, oh, really cool character, I think. Just so sweet and such a nice character. Can't wait to see what they do with her. The whole setup of the romance with Bolin. Not to mention she's an airbender. I thought that was really cool idea to make a character related to Toph, who should be just a really powerful earthbender, suddenly be an airbender. Really cool. But yeah, I don't want to go on too long, and I feel like I've already gone on too long already. But yeah, I'm just touching on a little bit of everything here. I really like what's going on with book three. Super interesting villains. I like that the kind of starting plot is about airbenders still. Kind of making up for the fact that book one air wasn't incredibly air focused. Want more spirits, definitely. I want to see what the spirits going around the world is like and more about what's going on there. Like that Zuko's kind of an investigator early on in the book. Like that a lot of the other characters are getting some screen time. That some of the book two characters we thought were just going to go away and maybe return in book four have come back almost immediately with Varric, Eska, and Desna, and so on. Very, very happy with how things are turning out, and just I think book episode 1 and 2 are going to explain a lot about what's going on in these episodes, and I'm very interested to see what happens in episode 7 onwards, going towards the end of the book. Just super. I think a lot of the new characters are very interesting, and I just can't wait to finally get official bios out for these characters so everyone can discuss them. I can't wait until the trailer comes out and stuff like that. But yeah, that's just my quick thoughts on the spoilers. If I left anything out that you want my thoughts on, just comment below and I'll try and get a comment reply up fairly soon. But yeah, thanks for watching this video, and bye.